Working, that works. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Bangor School Committee. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and we will get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. We are starting tonight with recognitions. We have several recognitions to make of student achievements, which we are honored to celebrate, beginning with the Bangor High School math team. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. The Bangor School Department and the Bangor School Committee would like to recognize the Class A State Math Meet winners from Bangor High School. They took home the top team spot and the Crystal Trophy. Come right up.
So that is a commendation on its own, but the competition is fierce, and there are schools that recruit kids from all around the world. We have a charter school in the state. We have some private schools that do active recruitment, and they're our main competition at the state meet. And we haven't won that Crystal Trophy over all the schools in the state, as far as I know, since 2013. So very proud of this crew. It is a true team. As I've mentioned in the paper, this crew has met beyond our practices. We meet every Tuesday afternoon, and we meet Monday evenings and have some pizza. They have met a lot. They've dedicated a lot of time, and I really can't say enough about how much ability they have, but also how much dedication they have to this and many other enterprises. So I'm very honored to represent them here today. So I'll call them forward so they can receive their commendation. Anka Swara. Zafir Bashir. Jacob Klein. By the way, I should mention Jacob is the top scorer in the state at both. Preston Kuto. Thank you. Kai Groschin. Magna BJ. Wyatt Chadwick. Daniel Seamers. Daniel Robbins. Ava Rigler. And this would not have happened without the invaluable help of Eric Stedman as well. Eric. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Could we have all team members actually join the school committee over here, and we'll take a quick photo?
You're doing great.
My name is Steve Godsoe. I was the math department head at Bangor High from 1975 to 2013. And actually, there had only been 3 department heads at Bangor High since 1956, Worth Noyes and Gordon Smith and myself. I just want to congratulate all the students. We just had a potluck. I realized that I'm also responsible for hiring these two here, these two fine gentlemen. I want to give a quick history. Back at around 1990, Louise Small, who was one of our teachers, joined the math league. And I was the department head, so I hadn't done anything, so pulled her in. And in 1995, we were the state champions for the first time. Now, when you said Class A, they're actually champions of all, there are like 90 schools. They're the champions for all of them, not just Class A. And so we won. We had 15 students, and at the time, if you won, you had to have an assembly if you won a state championship. So they'd won lots of sports championships. So I was very nervous about that because I would tell my students, I taught there for a long time, that we're all nerds. If you're in my class, you're a nerd. I'm a nerd, I know it. And so I was just worried about taking 15 math nerds and putting them in front of a class of about 1,300 at that time, and what would happen. And I'm familiar with other places where there's been a big blow up and against the kids, but that was never the case. Nothing but love. Everybody was great. All the kids really wonderful. And it built over the years. We won the state championship the next 5 years. And we built up, so we had 150 students on the math team. 7 teams. We'd take 3 school buses to go to the meets. In fact, during an 18-year period, we were champions 11 of those years. And this partly MSSM was very strong during that time. I recall the school board used to meet at Abraham Lincoln School, and we were being honored one of these times. And there was a delay, and I was just talking to the kids saying, you know, there were 12 of them, said, how many of you had 800 in SAT math or the achievement math or a 5s on AP class? And 10 of the 12 had. The 2 that didn't were sophomores. They all, in other words, they had all 800s, all 800s. The 2 that were sophomores hadn't taken them yet, but when they did, there's a American mathematics competition, an exam they take in the spring. They were 3rd and 4th on the eastern seaboard, going all the way down to South Carolina. So, and I've already talked about this in a potluck we just had. This kind of thing carries over to other subjects too. When we had 150 on the math teams, they were great in lots of different subjects. And I recall one of the years, the science, the National Science Bowl, there's a competition in the spring. And this was one of the years we did so well at the math meet. In fact, there were 10 on the team. We could have had just 9 on the team and still won, but our score was so much higher. Lexington High School in Massachusetts is a powerhouse. They have like 25 National Merit finalists every year. And they could choose where they went in the regional, and they chose to come to Bangor. Well, these kids killed them. In this one part of the meet, it was like 100 points. They beat them 100-5. They haven't come back since. So this is a special little enclave here where there are lots of friendly competition between all the kids, helping each other, and it builds a very positive environment. So I just want to say that all the graduates that I know of are very, very proud of them, and they've done a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and congrats again to the Bangor High Math team. Next up, we have educators for a multilingual Mains Student of the Year. Dr. Robinson.
The Bangor School Department and the Bangor School Committee would like to recognize the multilingual Maine Student of the Year, Bangor High School student Jasmine Jurabevo. I just want to add to that Jasmine speaks 4 languages: English, Russian, Uzbek, and Spanish, and she uses her languages to build community as she tutors multilingual learners in science and math and helps organize the World Language Club. Congratulations. Hold on.
Quick photo.
Congrats again, Jasmine. Next up, we have our Scholastic Individual Chess Championship. Dr. Robinson.
The Bangor School Department and the Bangor School Committee would like to recognize the first place winner in the Scholastic Individual Chess Championship in the category for K5. Shiora Kamar is a grade 5 student at the Mary Snow School. He is now eligible to participate in the National Individual Chess Championship in Michigan this summer.
And also Maryland tomorrow.
Perfect.
And then I'll have the school committee do that, go up while I'm taking a picture of you two. Awesome, and we'll have you go over here and we'll take a photo.
Oh, that's.
Safe travels tomorrow, and congrats again. All right, next we are so excited to honor and celebrate the United Technology Gold Medalist, Dr. Robinson.
The Bangor School Department and the Bangor School Committee would like to recognize 2 Bangor High School students who won gold medals for the Skills USA Championships. Allison Perkey won a gold medal for additive manufacturing. Ava Cyphers won a gold medal for nurse assisting. The Skills USA Championships is a premier showcase of America's most highly skilled career and technical education students. It's also one of the largest hands-on workforce development events in the world.
Congratulations. And last but certainly not least, in our recognitions tonight, we have the Sister Solange Bernier Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Robinson.
The Bangor School Department and the Bangor School Committee would like to recognize our Sister Solange Bernier Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Mary Sue Schilling. This award, named for an EMME member whose career as a well-loved and well-respected French teacher spanned more than 6 decades, recognizes the long career accomplishments of those who are approaching retirement and who have demonstrated excellence in teaching and leadership throughout their careers as modern and classical language teachers. Teachers who have been EMME members for at least 5 years and have a minimum of 15 years experience in teaching world languages are eligible for this award. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you so much to all of the amazing individuals that we've celebrated tonight, and congratulations once again. Next up, we have adjustments to the agenda. Do we have any adjustments, Dr. Robinson?
No adjustments this evening.
Thank you very much. Now is our opportunity for public comment. I do have a statement to read before we get started. Members of the public may address the school committee for up to 3 minutes on school and education matters. Public comments shall be directed at the school committee and brief and not repetitive. The school committee's practice is not to respond or debate with speakers during public comment period. We are here to listen. The superintendent or her staff will follow up on comments outside of the meeting as appropriate. The committee will not permit profanity, shouting, and request that speakers be civil. Discussion of specific personnel on student matters and complaints concerning specific employees or students will not be allowed, but will be addressed through established policies and procedures. Before speaking, we encourage speakers to review the school committee policy AC, which provides that the committee does not and will not discriminate nor tolerate discrimination against students or employees on the basis of membership in a protected class. Speakers who share comments contrary to this policy will not be allowed to continue. Before starting, we ask that you please state your name and place of residence. So any individuals here to share thoughts tonight are welcome to the podium at this time.
Good, if it's green. Good evening. My name is Megan Anderson of Bangor. I am a mother of a current and 4th grader at Fairmount School and a 2nd grader at 14th Street. See if I can make that stop. I am here to express concern about the closure of Fairmount School for the 2026-2027 school year. Specifically, I object to the timeline of the closure, the seemingly intentional obfuscation on the part of the superintendent and other school administrative staff, and the potential for this closure to widen the ever-growing disparity between the east and west sides of our city. No one here is advocating for our children to attend school in a hazardous environment. However, to announce the closure of an entire school with less than 5 months' notice and with no plan for the students slated to attend Fairmount next year presents a needlessly stressful distraction from the work of our incredible teachers. It appears that the school administration long ago knew or should have known about the existence of the asbestos and the need to disturb it, as the school's roof and ceilings continued to show signs of increasingly urgent need for repair. Rather than proceeding with a thoughtful strategy, the school administration seems to be relying on a recent asbestos test as the stated impetus for a hasty closure. Bangor students, parents, teachers, and taxpayers should not have to tolerate such careless and opaque actions from our school administration and from our elected officials. Similarly, the way in which this information was communicated to teachers and parents is unacceptable. The agenda for tonight's meeting did not even include mention of this possible closure. Instead, school administration appeared poised to roll this announcement out once the public comment period closed, potentially foreclosing community input on decisions about our students' futures. It was only after parent and teacher awareness crested that Superintendent Robinson released any official writings. This is a shameful way to proceed and it does not meet the standard of excellence to which Bangor holds its own students. What's more, at the same time, Superintendent Robinson's writings state this will be a one-year closure. Some district employees have expressed that this closure is much more likely to be permanent. I hope that Superintendent Robinson will tonight clarify whether the district plans to ever reopen Fairmount School, and if so, the exact timeline of remediation and reopening. Students, teachers, and their families deserve honesty and clarity. In a very positive way, however, this closure presents an opportunity for the school administration and school committee to respond to the east-west disparity that plagues our city. Although this school is located on the city's west side, the implications of this closure should not be absorbed only by west side schools. We are one district, and it cannot be the case that displaced west side students are crammed into existing west side schools. The closure of Fairmount should be part of a thoughtful reorganization of our city's schools in a way that corrects systemic inequities and benefits all our students and teachers. This opportunity must ensure equitable busing that provides East and West students the same access to both school and extracurricular activities and resources.
Thank you so much, Megan. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much for those statements. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm loud. I probably don't need it. Well, a little bit, so. Hello, good evening. My name is Carrie Rice. I'm actually a resident of Holden, but I'm fortunate enough to have a superintendent agreement and I have children that attend the Bangor schools. I am here today, so I want to thank you and Superintendent Robinson. I am a registered nurse with two professional experiences in both public health and infection control. And I'm also a parent, as I stated, of 2 students in the Bangor schools. I want to begin by expressing how incredibly thankful I am that my children have been able to attend school within the Bangor School Department. This environment has truly allowed them to thrive, specifically through the unique and rigorous curricula that the other districts simply just do not offer, such as the accelerated math and reading program. And I see Miss Susie right over there, so we'll give a shout out to her. It is because of this, I value this high standard of excellence, and I am here tonight. The proposed closure of Fairmount School exists at a critical intersection of environmental safety, school infrastructure, and educational consistency. From an infection control and public health standpoint, I fully support the priority of providing a hazard-free learning environment, specifically regarding asbestos remediation. However, a closure without a clear long-term roadmap risks creating a systemic hazard. The disruption of stable, consistent environment that makes those specialized programs so successful. A proactive citywide strategy to protect both the physical and educational well-being of all Bangor students is vital. First, environmental integrity with a clear remediation timeline that ensures the Fairmount building meets the highest health and safety standards before any future reopening. Second, infrastructure equity to ensure that classrooms across the city maintain safe capacity so that every student, regardless of where they live, has equal access to resources and the extracurriculars that they currently love. Third is educational consistency. Our teachers are the stabilizing force of our children, and they need structural support and adequate lead time that is necessary to maintain high-quality environment during this transition. What I suggest is taking a systems approach that values both clinical safety and operational transparency. This can be achieved through the development of a comprehensive transition plan detailing student placement and resource distribution citywide, and to commit to a transparent communication model that keeps parents and public health professionals informed throughout the infrastructure planning process. By approaching the Fairmount School closure as an opportunity for thoughtful, equitable reorganization, it ensures Bangor schools remain a safe and consistent place for its students and teachers to continue to thrive. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Christina Murphy. I'm a resident of Bangor and I have 2 children. One of them is at Fairmount. And I just want to keep this really brief and say that part of the reason that when we moved to Maine, we chose Bangor was for the schools, and specifically for the schools being biking, walking, commutable distance from home. Having my other child at Vine Street, which was plagued by 1.5 hour busing delays, I am not convinced that moving children across the city is particularly feasible given the infrastructure at this time. I am absolutely horrified by the communication of this messaging. I think that if there was a greater way to cause trauma to our children towards the end of the school year, when they do rely on teachers and staff that they love, this was a great way to make them panic. I had to have a discussion this morning because it was in the Bangor Daily News. I don't want to have those discussions. I want this to be something that is rolled out in a thoughtful, well-planned manner that we feel ownership of as parents, and that we feel that we can trust the Bangor School Department and the superintendent to do what is in the best interests of our children in a complete and holistic way, which is not how I feel right now and is not the reason that I am attending this meeting. So thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, thank you very much for everyone that spoke this evening. Thanks, Ray. Next up, we have superintendent's proposals and updates. Our first action item is the school committee approval for the humanities travel program. Superintendent Robinson.
I am recommending approval for the humanities travel program for the next 2 years. In April 2027, our trip leader, Stephanie Hendricks, is proposing to take students to Scotland and Ireland. In April of 2028, a trip is being proposed to Italy. The revised policy, IJOA, requires that we get school committee approval for overnight stays and international travel.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Member Speed.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could clarify the criteria, if we could dig a little bit deeper into that for student participation. This last week, it was a joy to see the participation of Bangor students, not only abroad this year in Europe, but then earlier in the year in Japan. And you see that with all schools throughout the community, and so many kids. So how can we get more kids through Bangor High School into these programs? Can you tell me a little bit more about the criteria?
Sure, I would defer to Dr. Butler, who oversees that program at the high school.
So international travel originated, I guess, 3 years ago. There were forays into it. So reticence over time, those things soften. At the same time, the Humanities Academy emerges, takes foothold, graduates some classes that propose international travel through EFS Tours, which is a major vendor. Came to this board, I think, what was it, 3 years ago? Anyway, and in all the ways that you would expect, the experience has been first class, safety first, all of those things. It's right now, the travel has been limited primarily to students who are making their way through the Humanities Academy. They set their sights on probably through a combination of curricular events, maybe, to be honest, maybe to the extent they can, dodging some world events and seeing places where the art and culture and the language and all the integrated experiences come alive in all the ways that travel can. We've talked about 3 years in evaluating the experience for all the things that we would expect as fundamentals and then the larger payoffs. We see those things there.
if at some point, there was a decision to expand, it really hinges very much on a sponsoring organization or individual that's championing things. It's every attention that's made to economic factors, lots of fundraising, lots of due supervision and getting adults to be able to adjust their lives in a way that they can support international travel. It's a big endeavor, it should be. So right now, just to answer the question, it's been limited to students in and around the Humanities Academy at some stage. My understanding is that some might hold off in the interest of a larger destination or a place they've never been, or maybe economic factors, who knows? So before we expand it, I think the critical questions are asked to confirm, has it been positive? My check in the box would be yes, it's been positive, it's been doable, not a heavy lift to get to the, too heavy a lift to get to the type of experience we want students to have. It's accessible. The answer so far is yes. If you expand that, the questions come, but would support the endeavor. It's valuable and been successful today.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. Follow-up question, member?
Yeah, I just wanted to respond. I think it's great. I'd love to see it expand. And I recall hearing that it's not simply humanities students, but a travel club is also a criteria, which is a wonderful way to expand it, because I mean, it's the humanities department is fantastic, but I'm sure there's other students that would love to attend those trips. So if they can expand that club in any way, and I understand there's a ratio of chaperones, and I appreciate what you've said as far as making it accessible, but also making sure it's a lift that we can manage.
Thank you. Member Cook.
Dr. Butler, before you sit down. I know EF has previously offered through trips opportunities where students can do some supplementary work and then they can earn credit. Is that something that Bangor High offers to students?
In particular, that one, but I would be surprised if it was a viable one, they hadn't gone after it. It has been a hard part. They commit a ton to it, and it's a year-round thing to pull not only the logistics together, but the actual funds. So I don't know the direct answer to that question, but it would surprise me if the answer was no.
Thank you very much, Dr. Butler. Any further discussion? All right, let's take a vote. We've had a motion and a second, so all in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to informational items. First up, a free energy audit and indoor air quality testing program. Superintendent Robinson.
At this time, I'd like to request the Director of Business Services, Heather Hale, to provide you with an update on the free energy audit and indoor air quality testing program from the Maine Department of Education.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so thank you. You have the priority notice that I have included in your packet, and I also gave you a little handout for what this program entails. In early February, the Maine Department of Education announced their partnership with Building Infrastructure Management Solutions, also known as BIMS, about a Green Solutions Initiative. And they are partnering to offer schools throughout the state of Maine a facility energy analysis and consultation at no cost to the schools. Through an application and interview process, Bangor School Department was chosen to be part of that process, which is extremely exciting because this company will work with us to analyze all of our schools and do various indoor air quality testing. They will look at lighting. They will also consult with us on other infrastructure improvements. And so far, the Director of Physical Plant, Josh McGuire, and I have met with the BIMS team, some engineering, and the Senior Vice President, Don Bresnahan. on a weekly basis so we can develop a plan. They look at our strategic goals for the district. And we talk about the priorities of all of the schools in our district and just various concerns or upcoming needs that some of the schools we have. And they will consult with us, talk about those needs and how they can help us investigate ways to fund some of these programs and then also analyze a lot of data. And our timeline for this is we're actually starting the data logging tomorrow in a few of the schools. They only have so many data loggers, and I believe there was 80 something schools that applied for this program and they can only do so many. And again, Bangor was chosen as one of them. So that was a great opportunity because again, it's at no cost. But so we will start with, you know, our highest priority schools first to do some data logging. That takes about 2 weeks to do that. They will analyze the data and then they will share those results with us. And from there, we will develop a customized actionable guide outlining recommended facility improvements. And then we will kind of move on from there based on timelines of when some of these programs are offered for funding. And there is a energy efficiency one coming up for lighting that is actually due June 30th. So that one may be moved a little bit progressively if we, as we review that. And then the indoor air quality one is due October 1st. And they will help us write all of the grants and all of those applications for the state for all that funding. So they help us as a partner throughout this whole process as a technical partner. So I just wanted to share some of that exciting news. I think it's really, really great opportunity for our, you know, given any of the new information, plus, you know, Bangor School Department needs a little bit of assistance when it comes to these facilities and making sure we have a safe place for all our kids. So I think this is exciting news. So I'm open to any questions you guys have about this process. And
Thank you very much, Director Hale. Any questions from the committee? Member Speed.
Thank you for that, Director Hale. I appreciate that. When I saw this come through, I think it's a great idea. You know, it really is imperative to have healthy buildings that our students can learn in. Our aging infrastructure of our buildings is a great concern. And then also our energy consumption. So I'm pleased to hear that the lighting is going to be looked at, air quality is going to be looked at. I would like to know, you know, right off the bat, with these findings, this data, will it be made public? Will there be a landing page where folks can track data? Will we set goals, objectives, where we can track it and actually, you know, reach to make those benchmarks?
so I have actually worked with this company before in the previous district I worked in, and they want you all involved. They want the school committee completely involved. They will do presentations. They absolutely will put all this data in graphs. They will put it in presentations, and then those presentations can then be shared on our websites in a public format. And however you all want to see fit, they let us be the leaders of this whole program. So I think it's a great partnership in that aspect.
Thank you, Director Hale. Follow up, Member Speed.
Yeah, I just want to say how I think this would fit perfectly into a sustainability program. Really, a resiliency plan for our schools would be wonderful that looks at the aging infrastructure, what our waste stream is, what our water quality, energy use, what the capacity that we have to do that. I think would be really important to track that data, but also set goals. So I really appreciate the start, and I would love to see it continue.
Thank you, Member Speed. I have one question, Director Hale. What does data logging look like in the school?
So they they have little programmer things and they set them up in on the walls, and
Okay.
it does not disrupt anything. And they are just in the various rooms of the schools and they measure the air quality. So they measure the CO2 levels, things of that nature. And I think I already said 2 weeks, but we tried to keep the buildings at their natural state, so windows closed, and things like that. So the data is as accurate as possibly can be. And then they the engineers take that data and then they measure it compared to what the level should be and things like that. And then they'll give us a comprehensive analysis of all that.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then actually help with the technical rating of any sort of grants
They
to
will
get those
do
funding.
all of the things, trust me, the things
Yeah,
that you and
that's
I
wonderful.
would never be able to comprehend. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that update and for your work on this. I appreciate it. Welcome. All right, next up, we have our superintendent's update, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you. So in terms of schools and programs, I'm just going to run through my report as written here. Another congratulations to all of our award winners. It's wonderful to see so many students being celebrated. A couple of highlights, of course, there's many, many things going on across the school department, especially at this time of year. There was recently a kindness assembly at Abraham Lincoln School and the annual art show at Fruit Street School that I was able to attend. Very well received, students and staff, all doing a great job rounding out the school year. And of course, end of year planning across the department, as well as multiple theater performances and our end of year assessments. We are very excited to welcome on July 1st, a new director of pupil services that will come later in our agenda. And we're continuing to hire for any open positions for the fall. Our budget process will continue as scheduled on May 7th. I'll be presenting our budget to the City Council. And in terms of our facilities, I just want to reiterate that this was an unexpected situation that occurred. And this was not part of the original plan. The original plan for our facilities was to have a multi-year scaffolded approach that will include and does include as many stakeholder voices as possible. So it is unfortunate and an unexpected challenge, the way things have transpired. But just to reiterate, Fairmount is safe. Currently, we have conducted all of the environmental testing. It is in compliance, and the building is currently up to code. So just to give a short context of what has led to this unexpected change, approximately 8 weeks ago, there was a roof leak that was being addressed. And through that process, we were made aware of unexpected asbestos-containing materials in the ceiling. The asbestos-containing materials were immediately abated. This discovery has led to further questions about the needs of Fairmount School. Based on the unexpected discovery of the asbestos-containing material, and out of an abundance of caution, the determination to temporarily reorganize arose. And that in order to really be able to thoroughly address and thoroughly assess the needs within Fairmount School, the proposal will be coming to look at reorganizing for next school year. This is being done as a proactive measure, noting this unexpected asbestos to ensure that we don't start the next school year with additional unexpected events that would lead to an emergency situation with even less than the current timeline to make these changes. So this proactive measure, in my opinion, is going to provide us with a comprehensive picture that we can then use that information to make the best informed decisions around the next steps for the schools. The proposed temporary reorganization plan will be presented at our next school committee meeting on May 13th. So that is the update for Fairmount. And again, I just want to reiterate that this was unexpected and certainly not the most desirable way to proceed with our facilities. CDS process, that's continuing. We are developing those processes and looking to hire staff, which is that state-funded program. We are scheduled to be interviewed I guess I am scheduled to be interviewed for the Business View magazine, which is a national publication. They reached out to us and are looking to do a school series focused on innovation, technology, talent management, and strategies for maintaining excellence. So that will be happening in the coming month, and then the publication will be June or July. In terms of the region and state, the main DOE update, LD 2226 did pass in terms of the EPS, the revisions to the funding formula, and that's a benefit to a BSD. And the bell-to-bell cell phone ban in schools did pass through the governor's proposal, and we are in the process of working through a policy to address that to be in place for August. Any questions?
Yes, Member Sprague.
Thank you. Thank you for the updates. I hope it's okay if I ask a little bit more about the Fairmount situation. I am a Fairmount parent myself. I've got one at Doughty, one at Fairmount, and one at 14th Street. So I empathize with a lot of the comments tonight, and I appreciate the room. It's actually really nice to have people here. I wish it was under better circumstances, but it's nice to have people engaged, even though it's a really tough topic. And I agree that it was unexpected. I'm going to say two things are kind of in conflict here. This situation right now was unexpected, and yet we have known for a while that Fairmount is the oldest building in our school facilities. And easy for me to say now, but the conversation about Fairmount and Mary Snow, to be honest, is another old building, should have been 5 to 10 years ago. And I think that we should not be afraid of having those conversations as a community discussion, because people really care about this stuff. And the neighborhood schools are one of the most special things, not just about our school department, but about our community. You can feel it in the comments tonight. I live it myself. We all do. So I know and respect that the communications plan is to unroll this plan in May. What are the opportunities for public participation in that? I think we're having community meetings. How would you characterize those meetings? Is it a chance for people to actually submit and offer feedback and perspective, or are the community meetings more that we're going to be delivering a plan, or is it somewhere in between?
Well, at this point, given the accelerated and unexpected timeline, the temporary reorganization will be proposed. This plan has been developed and is still in development stages with the administrative team, knowing that it's a temporary 1-year reorganization. The idea is to move forward with that plan, as well as get the community input for the longer term plan. So we've explored multiple options, and I will be detailing all of that, even going back to the 2019 Oak Point study that was presented to the Bangor School Department back then with multiple different options. And those would be the long-term things to discuss, which I absolutely would like as much input as possible. So I think that answers your question.
Can I ask another question? Who decided that Fairmount does need to be closed next year?
I'd say that was a collective decision based on the facilities, the discovering of the facility concerns. And I mean, ultimately, I agreed that, yes, this is necessary because out of an abundance of caution. I mean, if we're unexpectedly finding asbestos to be able to repair a roof, we really need to do a thorough assessment. It's not fair to students and staff. This has been going on since, well, even before 2019, because that's when the study was put out. So I believe it's in the best interest of students and staff. And I do deeply understand the disruption, and I'm not thrilled by any means. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's not easy. It's very challenging. I do think, however, if we can come together as school and community, that this is going to lead to the necessary steps that, as Member Okiri mentioned, or I think you mentioned as well, Member Sprague, that really should have been addressed many years ago, and it hasn't been. So there's been a number of items. There's been deferred maintenance based on budgetary considerations and the multiple schools needing multiple upgrades. And that's where we are right now.
Okay. I respect that. I think in general, and I think we all agree with this. I'm not saying anything earth shattering, but we should try to over communicate and rather than under communicate. And we do have this vacuum of time now for the next 2 weeks that people are going to be feeling very anxious. And I don't know if there's any opportunity to accelerate the discussion. I think we have dates for these community meetings, which I think are great. I'm glad we're doing one on the east side and one on the west side. I hope that people will feel warmly welcome to participate in those. And I respect the tension between the time sensitivity of this and that to run a true public process would be months. But people still need to feel like they're being heard and respected and listened to because people have good ideas and people have meaningful perspective that we should bring to bear in this. And um, I also agree that this is a really good opportunity. Some of the comments mention it, you've mentioned it. I think this does accelerate the east-west discussion. I think there's real opportunities for expanded academic offerings by modernizing our facilities. I went to Fairmount and it feels the same walking in there as it did 30 years ago. And that's very nostalgic and wonderful. But I think we also should recognize that it's a building that served us well and its life is ending. And we can honor that. And Fairmount's a really special place.
And that's honestly, that's the process. This is why I feel it is extremely important to take this next year to thoroughly assess and determine, is this something that can be revitalized? What will it take? Can it be, upgraded to a point where it's going to extend its life? And that's what the plan is going to be. So in order to do that thoroughly, it does require a number of different aspects being looked at. And in order to proactively, again, not have to, in an emergency situation, say in 2 weeks, we have to relocate because of an environmental hazard, I do believe that it is in our best interest to do this now, despite the short timeline.
So people that are especially concerned about this, and I understand why they are. Our family is too. What would your advice be to them? Come back in 2 weeks, attend those community meetings.
Absolutely. And, share your voice. I mean, in the end of May as well, I mean, I know this isn't a short timeline, but time is moving along very quickly, I would say. But we are also going to have the preliminary results of our strategic planning process. So that is going to come forward. And through that process, those that participated in those listening sessions, there was discussion around facilities. So my hope is that we are going to have some preliminary information, but then there will be continued listening sessions to gather as much input as possible so that we can make a long-term plan. And that is, that's what I'd like to do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Member Sprague. Member Cook.
Dr. Robinson, I don't know if you can speak to this, and if you can't, that's fine. But given the timing of this in our budget process, and I assume what would be really high costs to fix some of the issues and what we might have to ask the taxpayers for to remedy those issues in a building that the infrastructure is just not where we want it to be. We've talked about sort of like the community and their concerns, and we've heard from people today. I live in that neighborhood as well, and my son will attend that school. I'm wondering if you would be able to kind of speak to some of the staff perspectives that you've heard. Are they feeling similar concerns to the public, or are they really concerned about the working conditions? Just so that we kind of have an understanding of where they're at.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily speak for the staff. However, I'd say that's both. There is concern, of course, for any kind of reorganization. As was mentioned this evening, it does create an additional stress for folks, especially at a busy time of year. At the same time, concerns have been expressed. The leaky roof is just one example.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Cook. Member Speed.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm all about communications. I agree. Over communicating is good and as timely as possible, but I also appreciate the responsibility of communicating accuracy and being thoughtful of what we communicate, when we communicate, how we communicate it. Because sometimes if we get ahead of ourselves, it's irresponsible, really, before we know enough. So I'm wondering, my suggestion really is, and I appreciate the approach that we've taken tonight, expressing what we know, expressing what still needs to be determined. And I understand that Member Sprague has alluded to some listening sessions. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to reiterate when those listening sessions are. And also, I'd love to also hear your thoughts on the fact that we have a very immediate situation that we need to deal with for the upcoming school year. And now that's presented an opportunity to think about our reorganization as a whole district. How can we be sensitive to the parents and students of Fairmount during these listening sessions, while also listening to all parents and all students during those times? Is there a way that we can carve out special attention during those times? And then lastly, one of the things that I think helps transparency in the 2 weeks that we have between now and and our next meeting would be a landing page, on our website where folks can go as a source of truth of what we know, what we don't know, a form that folks can fill out with their questions or concerns so we can start to collect those. And I would encourage all members of Bangor to express those concerns. The concerns that we heard tonight were valid and received. And so the more that we hear, the better that we can make those decisions together as a community.
Absolutely. We can, the two listening sessions that are scheduled are on May 18th and from 5 to 6 p.m. at James F. Dowdy. And then at 6:30 to 7:30, we will be over at Cohen. We can certainly, there was not a specific plan to talk just to Fairmount students. However, if that arises to something that we need, I'm not opposed to doing that. You asked multiple questions. I'm not sure what else you said.
Yeah, I appreciate that because, having an open-ended listening session is wonderful and constructive. But I think in the immediate need, the Fairmount parents and students, I think they deserve a carve out of time specific for them. That's a personal opinion.
Sure.
But to communication, is there anything else that you can share that we haven't heard already about what we know, what we don't know, what needs to be determined? And then also, how can we receive those questions and comments
Sure.
from folks in the meantime?
I have talked with our Director of Community Outreach, Director Finney, and he is in process working on a web page that will allow us to post that information, as well as a Google form that can allow for feedback. So that's not quite ready yet. As you can imagine, like you mentioned, this is a significant process in an accelerated timeline. So I will apologize for the fact that there hasn't been extensive communication at this point. And that is because we are trying to be very thoughtful and work through a number of iterations so that we can land on what is going to be hopefully the least disruptive, that also provides opportunities, of course, to maintain academic excellence and to ensure the safety of our students and staff. So it has been a very thoughtful process. I would like to commend the administrative team and district team, those that have been deeply involved. It's been a lot. We're still in process with that. That presentation and proposal will be finalized and prepared for sending out to the school committee for next week. So that is definitely what we want to reiterate, is that this was unexpected, certainly not in the plan, not in the original plan. The strategic plan was is being revised and refined. We've been doing those listening sessions all over the winter, and the whole purpose of that was to gather the community input from community staff, students, and all the people that, as possible. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I did see Member O'Carey first. Sorry, Member Sprague.
Thank you. This might not be the appropriate time, but I want to thank the parents who spoke today. Your voices matter. I didn't run for school committee because I have a lot of free time. It's because I want to be a voice for those who don't have the time. And I commend you for taking the time out of your busy day and coming and presenting. But Member Speed said something that I wanted to say earlier, but he got to it first. But I want to suggest again a forum or some kind of landing page where parents who necessarily can't attend those meeting sessions, where they can feel that their voice is heard, where they can, obviously you can email the superintendent, email the school committee, come to school committee meetings. But if there's just some special place where parents who are specific about this topic could come and express their concerns and suggestions and ideas, that would be great. So that's my question, but I also want to commend Superintendent Robinson for your work on this. It's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, and to be as strategic, thoughtful, reasonable, presenting the information that you actually have accurately. It takes time. And of course, as a parent, you'd be frustrated by the lack of not knowing as soon as possible. But at the same time, it's a large organization that a lot of parts need to be put into place and communicated effectively and efficiently and accurately. So I commend you balancing all of that while also doing your regular job that takes up a lot of time. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I'll let you answer if there's a possibility for parents to something that they can comment on that's not necessarily an email.
Absolutely, yeah. We can, as I mentioned, do a form on our website, and that can be shared out through ThrillShare to all of our Fairmount families and really everyone if we want. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you, Member O'Carey. Member Sprague.
Thank you. I don't want to seem like I'm second guessing in public here, but the order of things is still a little bit troubling to me, what comes next, because there's a vacuum of time here. Misinformation fills a vacuum, and it's pinballing all over the place right now. I can feel it myself in my neighborhood and just people who are reaching out. I feel a little bit I don't know, off myself because I don't have a good sense of the plans. I know they're still being worked on. It's very complicated, like transportation, facilities, extracurriculars, everything. It's complicated. I want to recognize that. In my opinion, the community meetings, May 18th, is too far out. It's too far out. And I think we have to do it sooner, as soon as next week or the week after. And again, just on the order of it, because we are a public entity, we have to post our agenda publicly like several days before the meeting. So then that is going to get in the media before we've had a chance to talk about it. And when it ends up in the media, it's going to get skewed and it's going to further the misinformation. We're going to be here 2 weeks from now, still very confused. And I actually think after the May 13th meeting, we will all feel a lot better. So maybe we just need to endure to that point. But I think that people are so anxious right now and there's so much misinformation. I mean, I'm hearing wild ideas out there. And I don't know, I don't blame people for feeling that. So I don't know if there's an opportunity that maybe if you're going to post it as part of the agenda for May 13th towards the end of next week, maybe it shouldn't just be like part of the agenda, but actually a public announcement of the preliminary plans. And so we control the narrative a little bit better so that we're not just waiting until May 13th, but we are out in front of it a little bit more.
Definitely can be considered. Yeah. Thank you.
Member Speed.
Yeah, but isn't that the point, to get as much feedback and ideas as possible? I hear what you're saying, you know, we don't want, if we don't control the narrative of what we know and what we don't know, then folks will spread rumors or make up ideas of what they think is happening. However, I think what we can do as a community right now is really think about, how do we address this as a community? And so I think having time to actually take that input, take that feedback is going to be valuable. So that's my encouragement to folks, more folks that are here that can speak to that, but also come to our next meeting and give public comment, fill out the forms, reach out to the superintendent's office. It's going to be important. But I do appreciate what you're saying, Member Sprague, because you know, we're all hearing rumors out there, and the truth is, as a community, we need to figure this out. So it's on all of our shoulders to do that.
Thank you very much, Member Speed. I think we're all in the very unique situation that we all have children who will be directly impacted by whatever change happens. And so this is very reticent for all of us. And I do want to echo Member O'Carey's message that it is very scary to talk at that podium and to express yourself, especially when there is so much frustration. And we understand that and we hear that. And we thank you all so much for taking the time out to show up, to be here, and to continue to share your ideas. Like every person up here has said, I wanted to also maybe, as much as I want to wax poetic about all of the emotions that I'm feeling, I think right now the most honestly constructive thing that would be helpful right now is to recognize that this isn't anything new. We've been understanding that these buildings are old for some time, but every spring we are here meeting with the city and being told we have to make cuts. And I think a constructive thing to do is to write to your city councilors and encourage them when they're looking at the school budget to look at what our school needs are, because they ultimately look at that school budget and they might say, how bad is it? It's not that bad. Okay. And then suddenly 6 years later, we're in a situation where there is panic in the community. And that's frustrating for all of us. And there's obviously, I'm not trying to redistribute blame. I'm saying that as a constructive way to encourage some movement on this. We have our budget meeting with the city on May 7th, encouraging our city councilors to look at the school budget and say, we don't want to be in this position again. And I think that we have learned a lot of things and will continue to learn very hard lessons throughout this. I think if anything, as we continue to progress, having those continued listening sessions and creating a real community conversation is going to be critical. And I just want to encourage that and say that publicly, like this has to continue, this conversation. And I know that this is just 2 listening sessions and hopefully what will be continued throughout the year so that there is no misinformation, there is no waiting, there is no, oh, also this happened and no one heard. Something familiar, something scheduled. But at the end of the day, telling your elected officials that this matters is so critical. So thank you very much for being here. And also, I hope that there's just as much encouragement when we meet with the city on May 7th to say, this is why passing the school budget is so valuable. Please understand that these are old buildings that need attention. And that's where our students spend the majority of our day. Our valuable teachers spend their day. We want people to feel safe and comfortable and thriving and have the best, most innovative, up-to-date, technologically advanced, experience and not feel like it's, 1993 when you walk back into the building every time. So I appreciate everyone's feedback on this and thank you truly. And I really thank you for coming out here tonight to share. All right, next up on our agenda, we have, I'm sorry, yes, Member Speed.
I just wanted to just reiterate. So you're saying that May 13th is the next time that we meet?
No.
as a school committee. May 7th, we
Yes,
have
we
a
meet-
budget
we meet with the-
presentation that we're going to attend.
Yes, we are going to help, we are going to assist Dr. Robinson in the presentation
Right.
of our budget to the school, I mean, to the city
There will
council.
be a city council meeting that we can attend, and anyone in the public, anyone in the public can
Yeah.
attend.
Yeah.
That's May 7th. And then May 13th, we'll reconvene.
Yes, we will be at this regular
Okay.
dais.
Then May 18th will be the listening sessions.
Correct.
I had a couple other questions for the superintendent's report. Is that okay if I address that?
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Yes.
So the pupil services director position is an incredibly important one. How is that transition going to take place? One of the policies that we have before us involves the LAO plan that we have, and I'm sure it's a policy that we're going to need to look at. So I'm wondering if somebody could speak to what that transition will look like between our current pupil services and the incoming pupil services that has not yet been approved. I know that's on the agenda to approve that nomination tonight.
So once approved, we'll really be continuing with what's been happening already, I would say. We are fortunate to have the person who has risen to the top for this position is a current employee and is our current assistant director of pupil services. So she has been able to work closely with our current director of pupil services and really begin to make that transition now. And that will continue from now until the end of the school year, being included in specific meetings, discussing specific topics that will, again, ease that transition. This is a much better scenario than in an event where at times we have to wait until that July 1 timeframe to bring in new employees. So this affords us the opportunity to begin that transition process well in advance of that July 1 kind of handing over the baton. Mhm.
Yes.
So in relation, you mentioned the cell phone ban policy. I had an opportunity to attend the MSMA, Maine School Management Association Advocacy Day in Augusta and get a chance to sit down with the governor. And that was the question I asked her thoughts on the cell phone ban policy. And, she's done a lot of research on it, read a number of books on it to come to this decision. And I know at Bangor High School has been lauded in the media recently for a cell phone ban policy, and other schools are looking to our model. I would love to know when we're going to get a report back on how that policy is going. I think there's a draft policy that is being developed, and that allows us to adapt to our specific department. But I'd love to encourage one of the things, and this is why I like to encourage, at that meeting in Augusta, there were 2 student reps that actually pushed back a little bit. There were 2 students from York, and they were very thoughtful, and they had actually done a survey of students and staff on the cell phone policy. And not just on cell phones, but anxiety that comes from the use of cell phones, how to have digital literacy, engagement within classrooms, employability skills around how we use phones, right? I have my phone in my pocket right now, but I'm not going to take it out and play Candy Crush at the moment. So how do we teach those skills? And so all of these discussions, I know before I joined this committee, there are several discussions on it. Is it possible to have a report out from Bangor High School and how the cell phone ban is going? But also, if my student rep, our student rep was right here still, she's my neighbor, my buddy. I would encourage them, is it a possibility to conduct a survey to get some feedback from students and staff?
Thank you. Yeah, we can definitely consider that. Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we will move on to report of retirements. Dr. Robinson.
I'm reporting the following retirements for the 2026-2027 school year. Kathy Stankard, principal at 14th Street School.
No. Just kidding. Congrats, Kathy. All right, next, report of reassignments.
I'm reporting the following reassignment for the 26-27 school year. Anne Marie Stencil from grade 1 teacher at Abraham Lincoln School to kindergarten teacher at Abraham Lincoln School.
Thank you very much. Report of resignations.
I'm reporting the following resignations for the 26-27 school year. Tiffany Albee, grade 4 teacher at the Fairmount School.
Thank you very much. All right, the next item we have is business action items. First up, minutes of the last meeting.
I'm recommending the approval of the draft minutes of the April 8th, 2026 regular school committee meeting.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
6-0, thank you.
Thank you. Next, the financial report, Dr. Robinson.
I'm recommending approval of the March 2026 financial report.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
6-0.
Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is personnel. We start with administrative nominations, Dr. Robinson.
I'm recommending the following administrator nominations for the 2026-2027 school year with a one-year probationary contract. Jeannie McAlpine, Director of Pupil Services. I'd just like to say a couple things about Jeannie. I met Jeannie last year when I first started. She has been our assistant director of pupil services and has done an amazing job in that role. We had several highly qualified candidates, conducted interviews with all of them, including Member Speed. Thank you again for joining us in those interviews. Jeannie's skills, knowledge, and expertise really set her apart from our other candidates, and we are very thrilled to bring her on board as the Director of Pupil Services. I don't know if you want to say anything at all. You're good? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So I would say this is the job that chose me. I started as an ed tech over 25 years ago in education. I've always been in special education. I worked my way up to a special ed teacher, taught for around 16 years as a special ed teacher, and was always very student forward. I've been the assistant director for 2 years,
Yeah.
an amazing opportunity. I have learned from the current administrators. I learn from them every single day. And so I'm very honored to be chosen as the new director. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, no surprises here, but can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Jeannie. Do we have any new teacher nominations?
We don't have any new teacher nominations for this evening.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have second-year probationary contracts and continuing contracts. Dr. Robinson, is everyone okay if we take both of these together? Wonderful. Thank you.
So I'd like to nominate for committee approval the election of teacher nominees for second-year probationary contracts from September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2027, and continuing contracts from September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2028. Second-year probationary contracts from Bangor High School, James Fahey, Foreign Language, Lynn Rush, Special Ed, Maynard Walton, History. From William S. Cohen School, Michelle McGrath Copeland, Science. From James F. Dowdy School, Kelsey Hilton, grade 6, Christy Proctor, grade 6, Carmen Palencia, grades Special Education. Abraham Lincoln School, Kelsey Linscott, kindergarten. Fairmount School, Olivia Belbutte, Noah Gagne, Special Ed, Noah Gagne, grade 5. 14th Street School, Joshua Martin, school counselor. Sarah Mishu, Special Education. Maya Middleton, pre-K. Kelly Thompson, grade 2. Fruit Street School, Allison DiCarlo, Special Education. Garrett Johnson, Physical Education. Mary Snow School, Haley Anderson, grade 4, Mackenzie Powell, grade 5, Scott Talco, special education, Megan Venestein, school counselor. Vine Street School, Jacob Clark, grade 1, Carissa Lamond, grade 3, pupil services, Michelle Dunning, school nurse, Stevens Sharrow, physical therapist. Our continuing contracts at Bangor High School are Emma Nelson, special education, Jamie Purnell, science. At William S. Cohen School, Isaac Bushway, grade 6, Corey Dion, physical education, Sarah Holsapple, music. James F. Dowdy School, Jonathan Dowdy, special education, Brooke Dupuy, French, of course. Alyssa, I didn't take French. Alyssa Kabash, special education. At Abraham Lincoln School, Michaela Richards, grade 3. Down East School, Michael Boomer, art. Haley Burgess, grade 3. Alexis Duveau, grade 3. Morgan Hart, grade 3. Kasha Robertson, special education. At Fairmount School, Alexa Bartley, music. Karen Dysart, grade 4. Alexander Randall, special education. Mary Snow School, Megan Shaw, Title I. Vine Street School, Jacob Dunton, special education. Alexandria Gingras, grade 1. Pupil Services, Maria Glidden, occupational therapist, Ashley Hoffman, social worker, Abigail Pierce, social worker, and Rose Pompey, ML, and Bangor Regional Program, Susan Loretano, social worker.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
6-0, thank you.
Wonderful. For extra duties assignment for the school year 2026-27, Dr. Robinson.
I have a comprehensive list of extra duty assignment nominations for the 2026-2027 school year. These nominations cover most duties, and they are noted. It's listed in our packet if the nomination is not a current Bangor School Department employee, so that's noted. And I'm recommending school committee approval for the extra duty assignments for the 26-27 school year as listed in our packet. I'm not going to read through all of them this year, as I know I did last year, but we're trying to streamline. I remember. Streamlining, so I recommend approval as listed.
Thank you very much.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
6-0, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, donations. Member O'Carey will now read a list of our received donations. Member O'Carey.
Thank you. To Down East School from Bangor Savings Bank, snacks to support students, having a total dollar value of $200. With gratitude, I would recommend we motion to accept this generous offer.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
6-0, thank you.
Very much for those donations. All right, the introduction items. Next up, we have the first reading of revised policies. I'm recommending that we take these all at once to review and approve. Dr. Robinson.
I'm recommending approval of the first reading of our revised policies. Revised policy IGD, co-curricular and interscholastic programs. Revised policy IGDH, academic contests for students. Revised policy IHBEA, program for multilingual learners.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Any,
Seconded.
any discussion?
I'll take this opportunity to run the list of what the policy committee discussed. In policy IGD, the co-curricular and interscholastic programs, the practice end times were updated to reflect scheduling needs. The standard time extended to 8 p.m. and the lateness end time adjusted to 9 p.m. From 9:30 p.m. And we removed the word social just to simplify the language. And in policy IGBD, Program for Multilingual Learners, we updated the policy name to IHBEA in alignment with MSMA's guidance. and also align the language with MSMA.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Member Speed.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could start with policy IGD, co-curricular and interscholastic, not galactic, interscholastic programs. There's listed here start times, end times, what's reasonable for folks to get notification. I understand in the policy it states if there's anything that's extra early or extra late, then communication would be provided. But I'm just curious, do we feel there's a need to actually put that in the policy as far as travel is concerned? So I know that it's listed as events. Events do not end or after this time. But there's some early morning activity as well, and there's also some late travel. So what is, if I'd like to know, what is the earliest that students are leaving for activities, and what is the latest that they're getting back? And does that need to actually be in the policy?
Thank you very much, Member Speed. I would love to answer, but I definitely am making eye contact with the policy expert right now. Thank you. I know, I was going to say assistant director. Dr. Harris-Medberg.
So what this is intended is that it will really address the vast majority of the things that are occurring. There are occasional things that happen a little bit earlier, like there's some 21st century things, and there are some musical things that happen earlier in the morning, but not an excessively early amount of time. There are occasional like large field trips, like if they're going on something special that might extend much earlier, or can like going to Scotland. Those are things that would come before you. But this would address the general things that are happening on a regular basis, and that way it would allow people time to plan. We don't really want to extend the school day a lot as far as, increasing it in the morning time, other than like, there's walking school bus, that's something that helps students to walk to school. So we wouldn't necessarily add that in there because it's part of getting to school. Anything that's happening on those extended times would be clearly articulated to families so that they would know that those events were coming up and they could choose, do they want to participate or not?
Thank you very much, Dr. Harris-Medberg. I also just want to add that during our discussion, we also saw this as an opportunity to maintain, especially when things are being planned, some organization and some boundaries in terms of how late events might be planned, especially if they include younger children where 8 o'clock is past day bedtime. And so by being able to frame out a beginning and an end that's reasonable, maybe perhaps this is a policy that folks would look at and say, hey, we're going to have our school play. When should we plan it? Oh, it has to be over by 8. It's more of a buffer to help us make sure that we're still working within a safe and reasonable timeline for the basic hygiene and wellness of our students. Member Cook.
Is there a separate policy that is related to co-curricular and interscholastic transportation?
That is a great question. I am not familiar, Dr. Harris-Medberg.
I'm not sure what you're asking, like for times?
Or just transport to and from, or what curricular, co-curricular, or interscholastic activities for which we
Cover
provide.
that. So if they're going on a basketball trip or something like that, that should fall within this policy.
And is elementary school band considered a co-curricular or interscholastic activity?
Yes, I believe that it is.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
We did discuss specifically like the band concerts and the lateness of them, and making this more of so that I don't want to say teachers, but the band directors, can look to this and say, oh, maybe we should push it earlier and whatnot. That may be why you're asking.
Member Cook?
I'm asking because I just want to make sure in the future that if we are offering music programming in the morning, that we are providing that transportation. And I'm wondering if that's something that we accomplish through policy.
That is a wonderful recommendation and question. Dr. Harris-Medberg.
The transportation is not required through policy. It's just a standard practice.
Thank you very much. Member Speed.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could have an answer to my previous question, which is what is the earliest and what is the latest, right? I've heard stories of folks getting home at 1 a.m., but I can't imagine, right, that folks would get home that late. Is that true? Are there
Principals will
other?
answer that question.
I think that would be yeah, I don't know if that's at the high school. If I would say there may be exceptions if there are unexpected circumstances, but I wouldn't say that's the norm. I certainly.
Yeah, so like our kids leaving before 6 a.m. and getting back after 11.
Heard in the policy are exceptions. They're noted. You know, we've made some decisions. I've made some decisions to stop participating in certain seasonal co-curriculars because I wasn't satisfied that the outlandish hour that kids got released was something we wanted to continue doing. So they're rare, they do occur. The very earliest, high school does start a little earlier. There aren't clubs or activities that start even before 7 a.m. The student council exec board might come in at that time, but most things are between 7 and 8. The latest, in terms of scholastics, the rearrangement of the divisions in Class A having more local opponents. I couldn't have stood up here 5 years ago and said, travel's great. It wasn't. We were traveling for league contests, just run-of-the-mill contests, 3 hours, when you, from the time the game ends and getting home. So what was presented, what I heard in the policy doesn't seem unreasonable, undoable, and not much less of an occurrence or an instance of those things happening than I could have said 5 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Butler.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to have that context, and I just want to be aware of that. So if students are getting home late and they're working on Saturdays, working on Sundays, it may be a policy that considers Friday different than a school night, but we also have students that work, and I would hope that they would have access and ability to compete and to participate, and any way that we can help in our policies. This is I think one of our most important duties that we have to do that. So something to consider. I think love to hear your input as well, as far as whether we think we need to put in the policy cannot return later than this time.
Thank you very much. I would recommend that be reserved for our policy committee meeting, and I would welcome you to join that so that we can have that discussion, because I do think it's an important thing to consider, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Moving on. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the discussion. Now it is the time to vote. All in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, committee updates. We have no committee appointments. Do we have any representative reports? Wonderful. Member VJ was kind enough to leave a little note on the student committee updates that I would be happy to share, because they're very exciting. Bangor High School Senior Prom is this Saturday. Yay. The math team, as we saw, placed first in both their division and their state. Congratulations. Spring sports are well underway with softball, baseball, boys and girls lacrosse, outdoor track and tennis, all performing well. The Best Buddies, Bangor, hosted its friendship walks, actually for most of Maine, at Cameron Stadium last Sunday, and was well attended, exceeded all goals, and really brought in more individuals in the community than ever before. So thank you to all who attended that. The class of 2027 participated in Junior Transcript Review Day with UMaine, and BHS Humanities students traveled to Budapest, Vienna, and Prague over spring break. And as we all again saw this earlier this evening, French teacher Mrs. Schilling received the Multilingual Maine's Sister Solange Lifetime Achievement Award. So thank you very much, Member VJ, for those. Next up, we have any questions or comments from the committee? Member Sprague.
I promise I'm not going to prolong this too much longer, but I want to end on a positive note and say, Member Bryden, well done leading the meeting tonight. I think this is your first time. Big meeting. Nice job. It was really great to see all those students and staff recognized at the beginning of the meeting. I'm glad there were so many people here to see it and people watching online. Achievement is worth celebrating, and it's okay for us to want to be the best at things. I love that about the Bangor School Department. I want us to be the best, and I want to be proud of it. So that was a nice start to the meeting today. And I do think I know the Fairmount situations have been all consuming on your time, Dr. Robinson, and many people in the staff. And it's easy to second guess things after the fact, but decisions made in moments of crisis are rarely going to be perfect. There's things we can learn from all these situations, and I hope we do. But I don't really think there's been deliberate attempts at obfuscation here. I think it's been trying to get to this meeting for an initial update. It ended up in the paper. They're a good paper. They got it. Okay. That's how it goes. But we're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. We have short-term decisions to make and long-term decisions to make, and we will be okay. Our staff is phenomenal on these. Our students are resilient, and we'll get through it. And some of the ideas floating around are so bad that whatever we come up with is going to be better. It's going to be well received. So I'll look forward to the next discussion in 2 weeks. But
I can say it's not the Bangor Mall. I did hear that, and it's not that.
Thank you very much, Member Sprague. Member Cook.
Dr. Robinson mentioned the retirement of Kathy Stankard, and I just wanted to take a moment to say that is the crisis I'm dealing with right now, because that will be a devastating loss to our community, but we wish her well in her retirement.
Well said, Member Cook. Thank you very much for all you've done, Principal Stankard. Member Speed.
Yeah, I just wanted to put a shout out for the recent podcast. I'm the number one fan of Beyond the Bell, with committee member Luciano and Dr. Robinson as well. But particularly, it's close to my heart because of the emphasis on nature-based learning, learning outside, learning through the school gardens and the wonderful staff and volunteers that we have. But not only that, but just listening to the conversation of the fact that we're partnering with UTC students who are designing and building a greenhouse with the Bangor students. We have local Girl Scouts that are collaborating on these community gardens, raised beds for the Project Transitions program, and the other multitude of community partners that we have. And it's just a wonderful way of emphasizing hands-on learning and getting outside. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, seeing no further comments, I wanted to share some upcoming important dates. First up, Thursday, May 7th, mark your calendars for our city budget presentation, 5:15 here in council chambers. Wednesday, May 13th is our regularly scheduled meeting, 7 p.m. in council chambers. We do have our listening sessions, May 18th, 5 to 6 p.m. at Dowdy School and 6:30 to 7:30 at Cohen. Wednesday, May 27th, regular meeting 7 p.m. in council chambers. Wednesday, June 10th, regular meeting 7 p.m. council chambers. Wednesday, June 17th, end of year assembly 7:45 Peaks Auditorium. And Wednesday, June 24th, regular meeting 7 p.m. council chambers. With that, may I get a motion for adjournment?
so moved.
All in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
Good night.